This is the Gemara Brachot, Tractate Brachot 63a. When Hanina, the son of the brother, right, the nephew of Yeshua, went out of the land of Israel. Yarad, right, he went down. Yirida, leaving Eretz Yisrael is a Yirida, is a decline. Legola, he went to the exile. Hayama aber shanim vekoveh chodeshim b'chutz la'aretz. He was intercalating the years and establishing months outside of the land of Israel. Right, we have the law of making the leap years, adding a month, in order that the Pesach, the holiday of Pesach, should come out in the spring, in certain other conditions, but to make the, because again, we have the lunar year and the solar calendar, right? So to make the match, so to speak, that Pesach will always come out in the spring, they sometimes add a month. And now we have it already in the calendar set up, that every, we add 7 months over the 19-year period, but that's another thing now. This is when it was still done by the witnesses come and testify when the new month. So he was doing these calculations. You want a sheet here? He was doing these calculations outside the land of Israel, in the exile. And also, which is, as you see on Rashi on the right, V'tanan ein ma'abrim et hashanim ela Yehuda, right? You don't do that except in Yehuda, in the land of Eretz Yisrael, in the portion of Yehuda, with the Beit HaMikdash, in Yerushalayim. Those calculations and establishing it to the months and the years is only in Eretz Yisrael, as the Gemara says in Sanhedrin. But he went outside the land and said, look, we have to go on, we have to do the best we can. Well, now we have our new center, the Torah Center here in New York, Golders Green, wherever, in Bavel. And don't forget, that was the reality then. He was bemet the last of the remnant of the great rabbis, after the rest of the downfall of the decrees in Eretz Yisrael. So he went outside the land and did these laws, these calculations. Shagru acharav shnei talmidei chachamim. The rabbis of Eretz Yisrael sent after them 2 scholars. Sent down to this calculated plan. They sent these 2 rabbis, messengers, to the community outside of Israel. Rabbi Yossi ben Kippar, uben beno shel Zechariah ben Kabutal. The Rabbi Yossi ben Kippar and the son, this great the great grandson, whatever, of Zechariah ben Kabutal. Kevan shira'otam, when he saw them, Rabbi Hanina, he sees these 2 great rabbis coming from Eretz Yisrael. Amar lehem, lama batem? Again, we're talking about now after this took place, after Hadrian now has died, and now the Jews in Eretz Yisrael are coming. There's a comeback of Torah and the rejuvenation of the centrality of the Torah forces in the land of Israel. Not like when he first left. He was alone. And now there's the reflourishing of Eretz Yisrael and the Torah. And now these rabbis sent these 2 messengers to Hanina, and he says, what are you doing here? What brings you to Bavel? Amru lilmod Torah banu. We came to learn Torah. We came to learn Torah by you. You have a yeshiva here, a great community yeshiva. We came to learn Torah by you. Psst. It's very praiseworthy. Here they're praising him that we had here. There's Torah and Eretz Yisrael, but we came to learn by you. So that's very flattering. So he says to them, and this is all planned, but this is, as you'll see, he says to them, so he announces to the public, to the community, to introduce these great rabbis. He says, these people are great rabbis. Right, they praised him, so he shows them, the community, how he found favor and they win his trust. So he praises them in front of the whole community, puts them up front in the row, they sit in front in the Mizrach. These are giants of the generation. Vavotehem shimshu bebeit hamikdash. And their elders, their grandfathers, worked in the Beit HaMikdash, in the temple. As it says, and he brings the proof that this is the Moshe Shaninu, Zachariah ben Kabutal Omer, Harbei Pamim Kariti Lefanav Sefer Daniel. He says, where do we see that they were served in the temple? He goes that many times, Zachariah ben Kabutal, which is the great-grandfather of one of these rabbis, he says that many times I read in front of the Kohanim, in front of the Kohen, the book of Daniel, right? The night of Yom Kippur, he shouldn't fall asleep. So they used to read interesting things to him, to the Kohen. So his grandfather, was one of those that served in the Beit HaMikdash to keep the Kohen awake. So we see that these are great rabbis, and also the other one, they bring a source to explain that he also was this great scholar, or descendant of these great scholars. So he also. And all of a sudden, though, now the story takes a sad turn. Hitchil hu mitameh v'hem mitarim. So now they're in the front row, and they're great, respected rabbis in the community now. And all of a sudden, every decision he makes, he says something is tameh, is impure, and they say, no, it's tahor, it's pure. Hu oser, he says something's forbidden. V'hem matirim, they say, no, it's allowed, it's permissible. Again, every time he gives out a legal legislation, a decision, a rabbinic decision, they put up a notice, no, the opposite. He says it's forbidden, they said, no, you're allowed to do so. Psst. It's very embarrassing, the situation. Here, these rabbis come, and now everything he says, they say the opposite. And even for the lenient, right? They say it's permissible, all that he said was forbidden. So then he gets up and says, "Hichriz aleim anashim alalu." What would you do, right, in this situation? You're the rabbi, and all of a sudden these people come, and you put them next to you, and all of a sudden everything you say, they're saying the opposite. It's embarrassing. It's also halachically. What's going on here? So he announces it in front of everyone. Now he makes a public announcement. Anashim halalu shel shavhem, shel tohuhem. These people are empty. They're void. They're worthless. They're desolate. Right, tov, right? The world before it was created, it was full of desolation. These people are empty. The problem is, what's the problem with that now, that announcement that he says?
He's making himself look foolish. He brought these people on, and now he's telling them that they're not legitimate.
Right? A minute ago, right? You said before, you put us up front. These giants of people, they worked, and they're descendants of people that worked in the Beit HaMikdash. They're great rabbis. Look at them, great. These long beards come from Eretz Yisrael to learn by us, to learn by me here in our yeshiva. See how great we are. And now he says, no, they're worthless. Don't listen to them. They're negligible. They don't understand Torah. They're not. So they answer him, Bimet, like you said. Hey, Mamrulo, they said to him, Kvar banita, v'yetai cholistor. You've already built. You can no longer demolish. Like you already picked us up. You elevated us. You praised us in front of everyone. You can't destroy. Kvar gadarta, v'yetai cholifrot. You already made a fence. You can't breach the fence. You can't break it anymore. In other words, you praised us for the people. You're not able to change their good opinion of us. So now he's trapped. What can he do? Everything he said, they say the opposite, and they're praised, and they're big rabbis. Also, you told us yourself that and people don't know who to listen to. Now he's confused. He's trapped in this situation. So he turns to them. He says, "Amar lehem, mipnei ma ani matameh v'atem mitarim." Why are you doing this to me? Why am I that everything I say is chameh, is impure? You say it's pure. Everything I say is forbidden. Ani yoser v'atem matirim. You make it permissible. Why are you doing this to me? Why? What did I do to you? I see you're purposely doing it, not because of the law or whatever. You're purposely attacking me, ridiculing me. Amrulo, now they reveal their cards. What the whole plan was for. This was all, like I said, planned out. Indeed. To bring to this situation, indeed. To be praised. To bring to the point that he couldn't pull them down anymore. The people have a good opinion of them, respect them, and then they work to pull him down. Why? And he himself doesn't understand yet. Why? What did I do to you? Amrulo mipnei shata ma'aber shanim v'kovea chodashim b'chutz, because you are making these legislations that belong to Eretz Yisrael, the new years and the leap years. You're doing it outside the land. It's supposed to be done only in Eretz Yisrael. What are you doing? Usurping the authority, the centrality of Eretz Yisrael. He says he has an answer to that. He knows what he's doing. Amalem v'lo Akiva ben Yosef hayamar ber shanim v'kovea chodashim b'chutz la'aretz. He says also Akiva ben Yosef, the son of Yosef. Who's that? Who's Akiva, the son of Yosef? You ever heard of that name? Akiva ben Yosef. How would you call him? Rabbi Akiva. He calls him Akiva ben Yosef. I won't say this is like, again, he's contemporary. Rabbi Akiva was killed not too long ago, murdered. But he calls him Akiva ben Yosef also did it. Like, the same league. again, I'm not judging and measuring. He was a great rabbi, this Rabbi Hanina. You notice at the beginning, it's not called Rabbi Hanina. It says when Hanina, the nephew of Rabbi Shua, went to Chutz La'aretz. So I don't read into too much here, but the late names here, the Gemara doesn't call him the Rav. And he's a big Rav. He's one of the Tanaim. Don't get me wrong. This is a very strong thing. It's very difficult to teach this but it's in the Gemara. I mean, these are the words I'm just translating. He says, but Akiva also did this calculations outside the land. Indeed, there was a time when it couldn't be done out in the land, and we'll see the legal possibility to do so. They'll say it soon. When there's no other choice, then it can be done outside the land. There is an exception to the rule. So he says, Rabbi Akiva also did it. They don't call him Akiva. They say, Amrulo. Hanach Rabbi Akiva, shelo hiniach kamoto be'Eretz Yisrael. Leave Rabbi Akiva out of this. He left no one like him in Eretz Yisrael. He was the greatest scholar. There was no one else that could do it like him. So how do you compare yourself? In other words, when he did it, there was no one else that could do so. And he was the giant of the generation. But they call him Rabbi Akiva. He doesn't stay. He doesn't remain with no answer. Amar lehem, afani lo hinachti kamoti be'Eretz Yisrael. I also left no one like me in Eretz Yisrael. Which again is true. It's not like he's some haughty. That was the reality. The Rabbi Akiva was killed. The Beitar fell. Yavna, Yerushalayim was. Indeed, he was the great rabbi, the scholar. But the point is, though, that times have changed since then. He continued doing so, even though Eretz Yisrael is back on its feet in the normal state, and he got used to being outside the land, and the community with him got used to being independent of Eretz Yisrael. We have our own religious central authority here. This is the new Eretz Yisrael, as we'll see. So he says, I also left no one like me in Eretz Yisrael. Amru lo g'dayim shehinachta. They say to him, the baby goats, the kid goats that you left. When you left the land, Nesut Tayashin, they became, and they say rams, Balei Karnaim, with horns. The different rabbis explain the reference here. There's not just that they were children, then they were young, and now they became big rabbis themselves, but they have like the horns now to excommunicate and do very strong, again, as we'll see, what took place indeed. They have now horns, they have power. And in other words, simply put, that these rabbis, the little young child that you were, when you left, you were maybe the biggest, but now Torah has returned, and now there's big rams of Torah out in Eretz Yisrael. V'hem shigrunu ach etzlacha. And now they have sent us to you. We have this message. Look at the message here. It's scary. They sent us, the rabbi Eretz Yisrael sent us on this mission to come to you. And all that took place up now was planned, this whole thing of getting the approval, getting his respect, getting the trust of the community, and then to pull him down. Why to pull him down? What's so severe in what he did? They sent us to you, v'kein amru lanu, and thus they told us. L'chu v'imru lo bishmenu. Go and tell him in our name. Im shomea mutav. If he listens to us, it is well. And it's okay. If he remembers, gets the message that Eretz Yisrael is the center of Torah, that is where the word of God, the Rambam, when he brings down this law of making the month, remember that we learned this, the positive commandment 153. And we talked about the nation and the land, etc., how the Rambam, the positive commandment about this intercalation of the new months and the leap years, etc., that the Rambam brings down the verse at the end, and it's only done in Eretz Yisrael, we'll see it soon here also. Maybe I'm doing but the Rambam says how it's only in Eretz Yisrael for the word of Torah, Kimi Tzion Tetzei Torah, right? Zion, Torah goes out from Zion, and the word of God from Yerushalayim. If you remember that, and you say, wow, we forgot, we got you used to living here and outside the land, we got so being the center, living independent, we thought that we have our own Yerushalayim, but now you're right, you remind us, good thing that you came and reminded us the shock treatment, as we'll see. It worked and woke up the people, then it's fine. If this rabbi recognizes the supremacy, the centrality of Eretz Yisrael, and we'll see why it's so important. If he listens to that, this rabbi, fine. If not, he's excommunicated.